Thank you very much for joining us today. This is a live Q&A with full-time MBA students, Maggie, Punit, Leif, and Gloria. We just realized that actually with this dream team of the panel today, we're covering 4 continents. So I'm very, very happy that our students are bringing in their own insights about the program. My name is Agnes Horvat. I'm a senior marketing manager at ESMT Berlin, and I work a lot with full-time MBA students about the full-time MBA program itself. I've created a few slides about the program for you, but the majority of the time would be dedicated to our chat with the students. So let's just start with a few slides, and then the floor is to the panelists, and yeah, and to you. So if you have any questions, you can just use the Q&A function, and feel free to do that. I'm happy to moderate your questions later on. So welcome to ESMT Berlin. This is our beautiful headquarters. This is our beautiful campus in the heart of Berlin. On the right-hand side, in the right-hand corner, you can see that we are an accredited institution, meaning that your ESMT Berlin degree will be recognized all over the world. And again, today we're focusing only on the full-time MBA program. However, we have other MBA programs in the portfolio, such as the part-time program, the Global Online MBA, or the Executive MBA program. I would like to just very quickly highlight 4 very important things about ESMT and the full-time program itself, highlighting our modern and relevant curricula. If you're interested in the courses and more details, then please have a look at the website. Under timeline and courses, you will find more information about that. That's also an advantage of a private institution. We believe, I mean, we can act way quickly based on students' needs and the modern world's needs. We can tweak our course content way quicker than public institutions, let's say. The international focus is very much an important topic for us at ESMT. We have an international student body, but also staff is pretty international as well. We are based in Berlin, which is also a multicultural, welcoming city in Germany, and it has a really strong international vibe for sure. The third point that I wanted to highlight is career transformation. This is obviously the main goal why you would do a full-time MBA or any kind of MBA. In your future, we work a lot in the full-time MBA program with the Career Development Center, and our colleagues are supporting students to really get to the next level of their careers. But we will get to that with the students during the Q&A a little bit later. And in the 4th point, you can see some interesting bits about ESMT. Our faculty is for sure world class. They're coming from leading institutions. Many of them studied, did their PhD, did their research, or worked already in Ivy League institutions as well. And the last point, last but not least, ESMT is a business school that was founded back in 2002 by 25 leading companies. So this is really a business school that was founded by business itself. Just a few stats and some information about the full-time programs. You can see the program runs for 15 months. We have 1 intake every year. We start the program in January. And there are 2 tracks that students can participate in. It's either managerial analytics or innovation and entrepreneurship. Students are also, they can manage their own, they can tweak their own curriculum and schedule by choosing from different kind of summer options. One is, for example, a summer internship. They can participate in sustainability-focused consulting project called Sustainability in Practice. They can also work on their German skills. It's a very intense bootcamp, language bootcamp that we have during the summer, and they can also cooperate with our entrepreneurship hub called Vale Berlin during the summer entrepreneurship program and work on their own business ideas and develop them further. So as you can see, there are also there are lots of options, lots of ways to tailor-made the curriculum. There are also international options. Students can go on an international exchange at one of our partner institutions. And they can also participate in a very, very interesting project, which is very close to my heart. It's called Responsible Leaders Fellowship. Basically, a fellowship, an individual consulting project that students could do after graduation. So it is a fantastic opportunity to learn more, to work in the field in countries with emerging economies, and it's a great asset to your CV. It's a great conversation starter. On the right-hand side, you will see some statistics about our students. Where are they coming from? Which industries? As you can see, there are lots of different fields that our students represent. And a little bit about the average age, years of experience. This is very typical for full-time MBA students. They're mostly around the age of 30, having like 6, 7, 8 years of experience in average. And this is a very, very diverse class, and I'm sure that our students will tell you more about that in a bit. We created this slide so you can see what kind of activities does the Career Development Center offer to our students. As mentioned already, obviously, career development is the key, is the goal for every full-time MBA student and every MBA student. So these are all the things that you can take advantage of while you're at ESMT and doing your full-time MBA program. The team is organizing different kind of workshops, recruitment events. They provide tools and resources for you during the 15 months and even after. They organize corporate visits on and off campus, and the full-time MBA is a program where you can also take advantage of individual career counseling, which is a great asset and additional support for you. Here you can see a few companies who visited us during the past years and were present at the career fair. We always have one really big annual event around February, so full-time MBA students are always obviously welcome to join. A few information about the admission requirements for the full-time MBA. It's a very straightforward process. We can get into that also with our students later in the Q&A. All the information you will find on our website under the admissions tab. Basically, it's a very classic process. We would need your CV and your transcripts to see your educational background, recommendation letters, 2 recommendation letters so that we can get more information about you from your previous supervisors. I would say that the English test should be the least of your concern, because if you can prove to the admissions process, to the admissions team during the process that you've been working or studying in English, then you can waive the English language test. You will be also asked to complete an entry test. It could be a classic GMAT GRE, but ESMT also offers its own entry test. It's called BAT, Business Admission Test. Our admission team is happy to provide you with further information and set the link for you. It's a completely online exam. It's proctored online. It's convenient, might be a bit quicker to prep for than the classic GMAT exam. Of course, very important thing that we need to mention is that the last call is approaching very, very soon. It's the 14th of November. This is the last call for the 2026 intake that is starting in January. And if you're already aiming for the 2027 intake in January, then please just feel free to start already preparing your application. The whole process will be available for you then in January next year. Very important to know that awards, automatic awards, and scholarship, merit-based scholarships are also available, even for this year's intake still. So please have a look at the website. Please reach out to the admissions team for more information. The list that you can see on the website today will be very similar for next year's intake, but the sums might change, the percentages might change slightly for the scholarships. So please revisit the site in January once we kick in the next intake. So these are the things that I wanted to show you just very, very quickly. Here you have our contact information. It's degrees@esmt.org. You can give us a call. We're also happy to set up one-to-one consultations with our team, but you can also reach out and say, hey, I would like to talk to a student. We're very, very happy to connect you with current students or even alumni. So I am stopping my screens and I'm welcoming our students. Leif, Gloria, Maggie, and Punit, thank you so much for joining me. Again, as I mentioned, it's a dream team. So thanks a lot for joining. I know how busy you are. So let's just kick in the conversation. And again, I'm calling our attendees to add your questions to the Q&A. Would be great to receive your input. Anything that you would be interested in, we can discuss. We have 45 minutes to go. So the first question is obviously like, what's your story? How come that you picked ESMT? Why us? Why now? There are some surveys that they say for MBA students, it takes around 2-3 years to really consider whether they really want to do an MBA or not, and where, and starting to apply. So I wonder what happened in your case. Gloria, maybe if you could start.
Okay, so just to be clear, the question was, so why the MBA program and why ESMT, right?
Correct.
Okay, perfect. So basically, why an MBA? Okay, so I have a background. My undergrad was in international relations, and I went to go do a master's in Hong Kong in journalism, where I stayed and lived for 4 years, had the time of my life. And then the company that we worked for was a startup, and so we then worked a lot with startups. And I think that kind of then really interested me in terms of like the whole startup ecosystem and what it means to be a founder and actually start and have your own business. And so after 4 years, I moved back to South Africa to, Africa. So I was in between South Africa and the DRC, Congo, where I'm originally from, where I worked in my family company. It's more in line with like private equity. And I did that to really understand more of business. But I realized that there was a lot that I didn't understand. And so one of the reasons why I decided to do my MBA was, yes, cool, like everybody says, to expand your business acumen, that's fine. But I think also the idea of innovation entrepreneurship was also very interesting to me, because it was not only just to learn more about, the business space, but it was also with the idea of me potentially setting up something for myself after the program. And so I think that was very important for me as well. Why SMT? To me, it kind of really boiled down to Switzerland or Germany in the end. My mom, yeah, she gave me a lot of grief for not going to the typical, common places that people would go to in Europe, like the UK or France. And I just wanted something different. And I wanted also an institution that looked specifically at entrepreneurship as well. And so that's what it really just then boiled down to, okay, well, Germany, ESMT seems to be the right fit. And I'm glad I chose it. So that's why I'm here.
Thanks, Gloria. I see Leif was nodding. Why are you not?
So
What's happening? Yeah.
Nothing. I can just really relate to the things that Gloria said. For me, I actually never did a master's. After my bachelor's, I immediately started working in marketing and sales, actually for 5 years. And yeah, it was for me actually a pretty spontaneous decision that I took last year towards the end of the year in October, November. And I just tried to transition my career a bit and to go more into leadership roles. And I think ESMT is a great fit for that, because we have like really, really good leadership classes from very good professors, that are best in class and also very experienced. So yeah, basically career shift more towards leadership, and also maybe shifting more towards strategy or finance was one of the main reasons for me.
Thank you. Maggie, I guess you can also relate to the leadership bit that Leif just mentioned, because I've heard that you might have your own idea, your business idea.
Yeah, definitely. So it's kind of a mix of Gloria and Leif's statements in terms of why I chose ESMT. But like Leif, it was a very spontaneous decision for me as well. It was near the end of last year, and it was in the last kind of bit. I literally applied at the beginning of November. And to be honest with you, the decision was also very quick. I was at a company in Canada, a media company, doing marketing and promotions and journalism as well in my past for many years, almost 16. So my story is a bit different in the sense that I'm a bit older, coming back to school. But I was there for a long time, and the media landscape has really changed over the years. And we had some layoffs last year, and unfortunately, I was impacted by that. However, I saw it at first as unfortunate, but then it ended up actually bringing me a lot of different ideas that were kind of bubbling, and I wasn't able to bring them to the surface as passionately and as I wanted to. And one of them is that I started my own business during COVID, which is wellness, so personal training, nutrition coaching. And I really wanted to expand that. And a dream of mine was to move to Europe for a long time. And I didn't know how to do that appropriately. Like, I wanted to kind of make sure that it was at the right time, and that it was something that would help me get to the next level in my career. So I ended up kind of thinking a lot about what I wanted to do as my next steps. And then I sort of wanted to really dive into the wellness sphere and really expand that. And so I felt that I really needed to kind of sharpen my business skills, network into Europe. And that was basically what took me here. I just made the decision, and it was between this school and another school. And I ended up choosing ESMT because my roots are actually, I was born in Poland. So I was born in Szczecin, which is 2 hours away from Berlin. So my family's there. And it was kind of a no-brainer in that sense.
Thanks, Maggie. And Punit, how about you? Was it similar to Maggie, that like an MBA is basically like putting your foot into the door, into the European door, trying out something new?
Yeah, so for me, it was that I spent about 8 years in Indian real estate working for a developer. And it was in 2022 when I finished around 7 or 8 years in my career, when I had visited Europe for the first time, and I came to Berlin as well. And I was immediately captivated by the city, by the culture, by the international experience I got here. And I knew at that time that I wanted to make a career change, and I was strategizing what that career change would be. And over time, it became clear to me that one, I wanted to move to Europe for the opportunities that it offers. Two, I like Berlin a lot, and I wanted to find out what opportunities exist over here. And three, I want to call myself a global citizen. So it needs to be in a place where I feel like a global citizen. And that is why ESMT was a clear option that stood out for me. What took me the 3 years to make the move was that I felt a clear improvement area in my capabilities was that I had been very clearly focused on one function and one kind of organization. So I tried to get some more diverse experience, and I ended up working for a startup as a business head, and led some growth over there by scaling up the business to lots of employees and lots of sales. And I found that that gave me the kind of confidence that I needed to make this move. That I could say that, yes, I have established so much in my own country that I can come out and try to do it at the global scale. And so that was what motivated me to make the move. And so in 2024, I applied, and here I am in 2025.
Great, thank you very much. Unfortunately, I had to. Well, I didn't have the time to check what tracks did you guys pick. So I wonder, was it managerial analytics or innovation entrepreneurship?
Yeah, so I'm in innovation and entrepreneurship. Go ahead, the others.
Innovation, entrepreneurship for sure.
Same.
Okay, we have a full. And Leif?
I'm actually doing an exchange semester at HEC. So I was the only German in the cohort here at ESMT. So I got really motivated by, everyone coming to Germany, coming to Berlin. So I wanted to, see some other school as well. And that's why I'm really excited to leave for HEC on Saturday.
Exactly, because during the track period, there's also the possibility to do an international exchange. So this is what Leif is gonna do right now at AGC Paris. On the website, you will see the full list of our partner institutions, so you can have a look at there. It's gonna be really an interesting and exciting time, I think. With the tracks and also the exchange. I mean, you've started the program in January, so you've already experienced so many things. I wonder what kind of highlights would you share with the audience? Is there anything that really will stick with you during these, let's say, 9 months that you participated at the program? Maggie.
I would say I think that the beginning of the program was maybe a bit more of a learning curve and a bit more challenging, and sort of took a while to kind of get into the groove of it. But it does get better and it gets a lot better, I think. So there was a moment during the program that I think we were all super, super busy, and it was a tough time kind of finding balance. So a lot of us felt like we were sort of just in our study groups and our study rooms, always studying, and that was it. But obviously, that's part of doing an MBA. So I think that it's an expectation to have when you go into a program, especially so compressed with so much information. But it was really rewarding in the end, and the professors are amazing, and it's just been it's very supportive environment with the professors, with the whole faculty, and also our cohort is very supportive as well. And I feel like that's been one of the most, the one thing that I would say is the biggest highlight is how well we all get along. And it's crazy because, like you mentioned at the beginning, we're all from different parts of the world, and we've all been put together in one space. And I'm not sure how ESMT does it to pick people that all get along so well. But
it's the secret of the admissions team. I can't tell you. It's a top secret.
Yeah, but it's amazing because we're all so different, I think, and we all bring so much different experience and skills to the table, but somehow everybody really gets along. And we like to hang out. Like, we like to do things outside of the classroom as well. So I would say that those are probably my highlights.
You mentioned that the first months were pretty intense. And that's for sure, because people are coming from all kind of different industries, different backgrounds, different educational and professional background. And then in order that everybody is on the same level of understanding, you need to go through the basics of business management, right? So, and classic courses, finance and accounting and such. But it's a quite rewarding journey as far as I'm. Well, this is what I hear from our students at least. How does an average day look like in terms of like schedule and activities? Punit, maybe you can tell a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think a good way to look at an average day is, in an MBA, the two things that you get are content and connections. So the first being the content is the kind of professors that you interact with, the kind of subjects that you're taught. And so you start off your day, typically you have a 9 to 5. You start off your day with the first lecture, which goes on from 9 to 12. Typically you get a lot of information in that time. So, you get the lunch break in which you reflect on what you learn. Sometimes you have group assignments, so you sit with your group and work on that assignment with them. You also then, that group assignment and being in that classroom is where those connections start maturing, and you start nurturing them. And that is where you see the real spark, which is what you just said, that the magic of the admissions team, that all of us have such amazing ideas and we feel safe sharing them with each other. We feel safe sharing them in class. We feel safe sharing them in our study rooms. And the magic that comes out of it is that even in this age of AI, where I can just talk to a chatbot and it can give me any answer that I want, it is in that conversation with my classmates that I find the real knowledge that I'm going to get from this experience. Again, from 2 to 5, we have some or the other subject or lecture that is scheduled on a typical day, same kind of experiences. And then, like Maggie said, after 5, there is something or the other that we have planned with our classmates. Like, for example, I'm meeting Leif later tonight and we're going to be hanging out. There's something or the other that you're doing in Berlin because it's such a vibrant city. It has such great places that you can visit. If any of you end up coming to Berlin, I would highly recommend getting a bicycle because it makes it so easy to get around. So you're always out enjoying the culture, enjoying the places, enjoying the food, meeting your friends, making new friends. There's also a lot of networking and connections that result from this, which was the second part of it, which is parts that the school facilitates. For example, there was a session with a co-founder of Flixbus just yesterday, where there were attendees from outside the school and we could network and make great connections with them. And then there are external events which you can go and be a part of yourself. So all of this is typically what is bundled up into a classic day of the life that we enjoy over here.
Thanks, Punit. It's of course, the networking bit, as already mentioned, it's extremely important, not just within the class, but also with companies and possible employers at one point. So, Gloria, I was wondering if you could maybe tell us a little bit more about how full-time MBA students are working together with the CDC, with the Career Development Center, with career coaches. How does that look like in practice?
So basically, this is another great thing that I guess the ESMT does is that like the Career Development Center, and so what basically happens is we have a few advisors, if you will, that are assigned to particular students, and so you're able to basically meet with them whenever you want. You kind of like just arrange a meeting on a platform called Handshake, and you're able to meet in a coffee shop or at a place of your choosing, and it's just basically just to discuss your career outside of the program, where that might be if you're looking for particular working student or internship, or what it is that you're hoping to get into after the program. So it's amazing that you have that immediate kind of a dialogue or connection with somebody that you can just even like buzz on your phone and say, hey, can we set up a meeting? I need to talk about this, that, and that. And they kind of give you advice, and you go back, whether the advice is, okay, polish up your CV, or they put you in touch with somebody else. So that connection is comes in handy. And then we also have career coaches, which is also another amazing thing that we kind of get to see 4 times within the space that we're in the program. And that's really also just amazing because they kind of help to like set us on the right paths into getting into what it is that we want to do for ourselves after the program, whether it be starting up your own business or whether that is getting into a completely different industry or into a new role. And so they really just help you to do the necessary homework that you probably wouldn't have kind of the courage to do on your own. So it's kind of like pushing you and forcing you, to make certain stuff happen for your own benefit. So that for me has really been very helpful, and I've really been very appreciative to ESMT for that, because then so just to kind of go back a little bit, why this is so important, I think, is because a lot of times you'll find that on the beginning of the program, I came in not exactly sure what I wanted to do anymore. The idea was to eventually start my own business, but I was like, okay, well, maybe, working in this type of industry for a few years wouldn't be a bad idea. And then eventually I could do something else. So it's kind of like also meeting with these career coaches to sit down and kind of like put everything on the board, and then kind of start eliminating things as you go by. So it's really been a great experience. And so that's one of the great things that the ESMT offers, for sure. So that's just been my experience. Yeah.
Thank you, Gloria. Yeah, besides the Career Development Center, shortly CDC, we're also working closely together with the ESMT's Entrepreneurship Hub, and this is where Leif can tell us more, right? Because you've
Yes.
been working with the guys, so tell us more about your project.
Yeah, for sure. So there's this thing called Vali Entrepreneurship Hub that is sponsored by ESMT, and it's not part of the curriculum, but you can take part of it. Yeah, I actually did this summer. It started in April and went until June. And what they do is they help entrepreneurs just like get the right ideas and also develop the ideas that they have already further. And yeah, my classmate Vishwas and I had a pretty good startup idea that we developed with the help of Vali. We got introduced to investors. They really helped us sharpen the pitches and so on. At the end, we didn't really continue the project, but just for the learning purposes, it was really, really great and such a good experience, not only because of hands-on learning, but also because of the connections that I can use in the future as well.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Welcome.
I was wondering if any of you would like to share their experience about the summer option of your choice. Whoever feels like it.
Sure, I was just talking. I can go ahead.
Go ahead.
So right after Vali finished at the end of June, I was really thankful because one member of the CDC team, Sophie, actually introduced me to an ESMT alumni, and he has a pretty high position at Delivery Hero. I'm sure some of you have heard of the company. It's very big and very global, and not really active in Germany anymore, but very big in Asia, South America, and so on. So I actually did an internship / working student job there for 2 months, just finished in September. And I was doing finance operations, which was totally different to what I've done in the past. But it was really great to learn and also to use the stuff that we learned in class in real time and in action. So yeah, the CDC is actually very great for also connecting to networks. Yeah.
I could go next. I took the summer German option, and so I'm very inclined towards making the most of this experience by learning the language. And so I had taken the evening German classes that ESMT offers. Before I arrived here in Germany, I had already studied up to the A1 level. The evening German classes got me up to A2, and so the summer option was the B1 level of German that I had studied for. It was honestly the highlight so far, even with so many highlights throughout the year. Firstly, because of the location of the classes that we went to, because it was right next to the Berlin Tiergarten, which is a beautiful place, and I would bike through it every day. Secondly, the way that we were taught, it was an intensive curriculum, and we had 3 hours of learning every day, along with lots of homework, so that we were able to really polish our skills. And I think what it really shows is that you are capable of learning a lot in a very small period of time. I think that's the kind of confidence that it gave me. Especially just on Monday, I was out on the streets and I had something that I needed help with, and I was able to converse with somebody in German, take help from them. And it was almost a half an hour conversation that I had with them in German. And that ended up giving me a lot of confidence that, yes, I'm able to achieve much larger things than I even thought were possible in a very short period of time.
I will test that later, Punit.
Nice. Gloria, what about you?
So I took a different route. I did something called sustainability in practice, where basically what that means is that so ESMT kind of, they reach out to these companies that are willing to work with us on a particular sustainability project. And so I ended up working with Nespresso, which was really great because before I knew that they were even like one of the options, it was a company that I thought of working with. Anyway, that's a story for another day, but that was cool. So we were with Nespresso, and basically what it meant was it was a 6-week program. And so we met twice a week on campus with my team. There was 4 of us in a team. And that basically just meant working for 6 weeks to try and achieve, the goal that, the question that they had to a specific problem. And after that 6 weeks, then you submit a report, which was like about, I think just 10 pages long. And then you also had a presentation where you met with the sustainability manager. And then sometimes you'd also bring in other people. So like somebody in marketing or somebody that's higher than him and one of the directors. And you kind of put a presentation together and you present your findings and your ideas. And then that's basically the conclusion of it. But it was just such a great experience because before that, when it came to the subject matter of sustainability, yeah, I knew it existed. I know what it is, but it wasn't something that really perked my interest to that extent. But after working on this project, it's something that I want to dive more into and learn about. So that was really great. Yeah.
We happen to have already reported about that on the ESMT website in the knowledge section. There's an article that you guys provided. So I think that's a great resource for the attendees of this webinar and everybody who's maybe rewatching this conversation on YouTube later on. Maggie, would you like to share your experience, your summer option?
Sure. So like Punit, I also did the intensive German this summer. And also like Punit, I found it very rewarding. It was very challenging, of course. So I actually, I lived in Germany when I was little for 2 years before my parents emigrated to Canada. So I spoke German, but I spoke a very elementary German, and I've still been trying to find it. It's somewhere in there. The summer option was really interesting because it gave me a chance to really kind of dive deep into it, and it was very intense because we only had 6 weeks, and basically we were learning. All different levels. It was very our program was structured in a way that we had the 3 hours of class, and then we had a site that we also did homework from, plus homework from class. So you really had to put a lot of effort into it. It wasn't just going to class and then doing a little bit of homework. You really did have to spend the time on it in order to get what you wanted out of that. And also, I found myself speaking German in stores and kind of trying to practice as much as possible, and just sort of not being shy with it. But sometimes I would say something to someone in German and then they would start talking to me really quickly, and I would I would ask them to kind of slow down. It's very too fast, but it's yeah, it was a great, I'm happy that I picked that option.
It's certainly not the easiest language to learn, for sure. Been there, done that. But yeah, this is a very typical question that we receive from prospective students. They're asking whether they would need German for their studies or getting a job right after graduation. And our answer is always, it depends. It depends what is the industry that you're aiming for, what is the position that you're aiming for, what is the city that you're aiming for within Germany. Berlin is a very international, multicultural city. It's full of international people. So if you go for international startup, let's say, maybe you don't need any German at all. But if you would like to join a German consulting company, then you need a very strong, rather C1 than B2 level of German. So it depends. Again, if you're in a big city, if you're in a smaller city somewhere else, depends on lots of different factors. Talking about faculty, I wonder if you have any favorite faculty, any favorite course that you would highlight to the audience, something that really stays with you, a course that you've already completed. Gloria, you're smiling a lot, like you have somebody already in your mind, or?
No, I'm actually smiling because I have to think about it. Not to say that I don't have a favorite course, but yeah. Can you come back to me? Give me 2 minutes,
Sure,
Agnes.
yeah, sure.
I could take this.
Punit,
I think
go ahead.
Across the batch, I think one of the professors really stands out. His name is Professor Francis de Vericourt, and he was one of the first professors who taught us. He taught us managerial analytic. He taught us decision making as part of our management course, and his approach, the way that he delivers lectures in class, and his whole storytelling around it was something that inspired practically everyone. And I can say that even now that it's been 8 to 9 months since we started, his lectures and the tools that he taught us are something that I use even today in my decision making. So I could name him.
Thank you so much. Anybody else would like to share?
No, I just totally agree with Punit, and also had to think of one other class, the operations class, because Punit and I were also in a study group together when we had that class, and it seemed very, very complicated at first, and also the tasks that we got in the study group were actually really hard. But then again, we stuck our heads together, structured the problem, and then came up with a solution which felt really rewarding at the end. So that's definitely also something that stood out to me.
And you already mentioned several times study groups, and I think that's something that we need to add some context to. So study groups, in your study group, you might have like 4 or 5 people from the class. You will be working together with them on different group projects for different courses, and these study groups are changing every 2-3 months. There's a new group, so it's also a way to really get to know each other. Obviously, that's the best way to get to know each other very well, if you work together on a certain goal. I'm turning to the audience now. If you have any questions, then please use the Q&A tool. I'm happy to moderate the conversation. Maggie, Gloria, would you like to share something about the courses, or maybe faculty?
Sure. Yeah. So I actually there isn't like a single professor I think that I would say I didn't like. So that's great. I really enjoyed Catalina's class with data in the beginning. And it's actually something that at first I thought it was very challenging and it was something different than I had done in the past, but in the end, I actually, once I figured it out and once I cracked how it related to my previous experience too, with how I used to pull data in media, like with ratings and that, and I started to really piece it together. It was like a puzzle, and then it just made sense one day, and I really enjoyed that class. So that was a surprise for me. So also, I guess a great way to think about it, because you might go into something thinking that this is exactly what you want to do, or you completely have it figured out, but then you kind of can surprise yourself with what you learn.
Thanks a lot. I'm also wondering what kind of additional extracurricular activities are you joining? Any student clubs maybe that you're joining? Do you think that these events are useful for you during the program? Punit is nodding.
I was just sorry. I was just listening and agreeing. But yeah, actually, not only the student clubs. I'm actually working as a working student with ESMT. So that is what I am doing with the additional time that I get, and I'm responsible for organizing events for students across campus. And it's highly rewarding to work with the staff as well. And it's actually as part of my job, I get to work with the student clubs. So that's why I was nodding, because the way that the student clubs enrich the lives of the students over here by providing them this access to different kinds of interests that they have, be it investing and fintech, be it consulting, be it the marketing club that Maggie heads. There are so many avenues that ESMT offers in this way that are student run and are so professionally managed and provide such excellent experiences and events to students. So that's something that students over here get.
Anybody else would like to share? We do have a big student club fair once you guys are joining. At the end of every year, we have a big event where you can meet representatives of the students club, and then you can discuss their activities. How can you contribute on the top of the classic student clubs? We also have different initiatives such as the TEDx ESMT Berlin event, which is really, really cool. And the talks of the previous years are actually available on YouTube under the TEDx, the main TEDx account, so channel. So please have a look. We had some really, really nice talks. And the next one is already scheduled to February next year. So I'm very much looking forward to that event. It's actually a 100% student-run event, which I think is fantastic. Full-time MBA students are also involved, but I think yeah, I mean, it's a collaboration, but for sure the master students are they have a very important role as well. Master in global management, AI and analytics, and innovation entrepreneurship. These degree program participants are also leading this project, which is really, really great and motivating. We are closing the webinar soon. So again, to the attendees, if you have anything left that you would like to ask, then please use the Q&A. Otherwise, I was just wondering whether you guys have any suggestions maybe for applicants, for prospective students. Was there anything that you think was working well in your application, something that you would any kind of advice that you might have? Gloria, maybe if you can start.
Well, I really appreciated the fact that, so for me, I was speaking to Robert, that's part of the MBA team. And I think he was the guy that I did my interview with. And I think just having that moment with him really got me excited about the school and about the program. Whereas where I did my interviews with other universities and other places, they weren't very convincing. Yeah, I won't name those schools. But so I think for me, that was one of the things that I could say that ESMT really gets right. And so that for me was one of the great things that stuck out during my application process, but also just how it was very easy to get a hold of somebody at admissions and just go back and forth. Like the line of communication was very open, it was quick. And so I really appreciated that. So I didn't spend time wondering or meandering about whatever I needed, whatever answers or questions I needed, I got answers to immediately. And so for me, it was efficient and it was very smooth. So for me, there's no kind of like critique on that end. For me, it was very seamless, the application process. Yeah.
Leif, what would you add to that?
Yeah, same for me. One advice that I could give is to study for the test for sure. It was a bit, surprising and overwhelming for me at first when I saw it, just because I hadn't done, let's say finance or math problems in like 8 or 7 years. And in my job, I didn't really had to deal with these complex numbers issues that much or that often. So then if you decide to apply, definitely take a couple of weeks to really study for it. I think that will help you tremendously.
Punit?
Well, I think what I would advise everybody who's thinking about applying to ESMT is that the application process, there's no secret to cracking the application except for the fact that you must be honest. Because a lot of times people assume that I must have a very clear idea about what I want with my career, or I must have a very deep self-awareness. No, all you need is honesty. If you present your authentic self and let us know, let the ESMT admissions team know that this is who I am and this is who I want to be as a result of this MBA, then that in itself is a really powerful, driver for what you end up achieving. That's at least what I felt as part of my application process, because early on I knew some of the things that I wanted to achieve, but the things that I did not know, I was very specific and clear about them as well. And I think the team was very receptive to it, and they almost celebrated the fact that I was being that honest with them. And that was the feedback that I got in my interview as well, that the honesty is what really helps the admission scheme to make the decision about whether to take the candidate or not.
Yeah, it's a very good point that you made, that you don't necessarily need to have a clear vision when you apply for an MBA program. It's also fine to say, look, I'm interested in several things, and maybe I just, want to finally find my focus, and an MBA is there to really, you have time. You can dedicate these 15 months for really looking at different things, different industries, different positions different directions that you could go. And then you have the time, you have the space, and you can dedicate these 15 months for that, searching for that kind of clarity. Besides, you have the career development center as well as support, and the external career coaches. So I think that's just a really good combination. And also, it's also important to stress that you don't have to immediately pick a track at the stage of the application. You have still a few months to think about what is that you're interested in, whether it's managerial analytics, whether it's innovation and entrepreneurship. So you still can figure out things. Maggie, what would you advise to prospective students?
Very similar to what I've heard already, but being authentic. And I know that in my essays, I shared stories that, were very personal for me, but they really helped to explain my journey and why I wanted to come here and why I wanted to pursue what I want to pursue in the future. So I feel that being real and authentic. And then I also had the chance to interview with Robert, which was a wonderful experience. He's very warm and kind, and it was just a really good way to kind of learn about ESMT in Berlin in general. So I feel like that would be the main piece that I would say, is to be authentic and real and just be yourself, and kind of, if you have an idea, don't think it's too small, because if it's something you're passionate about, then I feel there's no boundaries. And then also study for the test if you're planning on going that route.
Indeed, it is a very important part of the application, but I also have to say this is not the most important part. Admissions team is really looking at your application in a holistic way. Of course, important what kind of results you deliver during the test, but still, it's also about the application essays. It's also about your background, your education, your professional background, your motivation. So it's the full package. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. I really appreciate your time. I know how busy you are. Well, good luck for Leif at HEC Paris on his international exchange, and good luck then with the tracks to Punit, Gloria, and Maggie. Thanks a lot for the attendees, for staying with us for the full hour. I really appreciate your time. Again, this video will be is recorded, so we will upload it to YouTube. You can revisit it again if you would like to. And if you would like to reach out to us, then please mail degrees@esmt.org. Plus, feel free to follow us on social media. We're very, very active on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Instagram as well. So yeah, we hope to see you on campus at one point. Thank you so much for being with us today. And yeah, I'll see you in Berlin. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much,
you.
Agnes.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
guys.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.